Master Your Destiny on 99 FM.
Welcome to the MYD Studios. Tuli, we're delighted to have you in studio with us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm like obsessed with all of this. I love
The
it.
studio decoration.
Yeah,
It's
no,
a nice
I
space.
love it so much. I'm happy to be here.
Glad that you like it. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got to where you are today, known as a contemporary dancer in Namibia, of the greatest contemporary dancers in Namibia right now, and having started a dance studio in Windhoek.
Well, okay, I guess the basics. My name is Tuli Shityuwete. Born and bred in Namibia. Well, born in exile, technically. Bred in Namibia. I've been dancing since I was 4 years old. I actually started a year too young. You're only supposed to start when you're 5. But I just, even at that age, I knew that I really wanted to do it. So I just begged and begged and begged my parents. And they spoke to my ballet teacher, Jenny, and she eventually relented and agreed that I could start attending ballet lessons. And, you know, we've gone on to have a 25-year relationship. I was with her yesterday. So, you know, she's almost like a second mum, my ballet teacher. And I think they say it takes 10,000 hours to truly master something.
Yeah.
I counted once. I think I'm at about 15,000
Wow.
at the moment. So it was really a major obsession for me. And I think that's what made the difference, is that it wasn't something that I only did when I was at, you know, in ballet class with Jenny at the National Ballet School. It was something that I was doing all the time. Even as a child, you know, ballet was kind of the constant, but I also did gymnastics for about 8 years. I studied with Angie at the College of the Arts, doing Afro jazz and sort of branching out into other styles of dance. You know, that's where I met Hamish, who is, you know, my business partner and, you know, creative soulmate.
And then the progression to starting a studio?
It's a weird one. I think that, you know, Hamish and I felt that we had gotten to a certain level, but that we didn't have enough rehearsal time and practice time in order to really move the company to where we envisioned it. Because, you know, a couple of hours here and there from rented spaces, it becomes very difficult. So, yeah, it was really, you know, we started the company in order to create opportunities for Namibian dancers and in order to train local dancers. And, you know, the studio was to really solidify that. Yeah, and I think opening a studio has been an interesting experience. It's been a very steep learning curve. It hasn't all been positive. It's been incredibly trying. It's been a tough year. We work 7 days a week, sometimes 14, 15, 16 hours a day.
Wow.
So it's definitely taken its toll. And, you know, but it's been such an incredible learning experience. We've learned how to be, you know, people that are not only artists, but, you know, in a creative enterprise.
And also a business owner at the same time.
Yeah.
How did you overcome the difficult times? I think 2016 has been a difficult year for many people,
Yeah.
and there's been a lot of challenges in different spheres. How important do you think passion is in our lives?
If you'd asked me this question a year ago, I would have said it is paramount. It is the ultimate thing. But I think, you know, getting a little bit older and some of my perspectives changing and some of my priorities changing as well, you know, you do start to question, you know, should I have gone into something more stable? Should I have gone into something, you know, I don't know, something a little bit different? But at the end of the day, I did it. And, you know, I did really cool things. And it's because it was driven by passion that I could go through the days of being broke, that I could go through the days of trying to decide between food or transport, you know, that I could go through hours and hours and hours of rehearsing and of injuries and of, you know, just, you know, people not understanding what I'm doing. If you don't have passion, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't make it. You can't push through. you know.
But what about if anybody's listening right now that they
Yeah.
don't know what their obsession is, they don't know what their passion is, what advice would you have to them?
Well, there's a couple of people in my life, you know, my brother, for example. He has taken a very, you know, winding path to find out what it is. And I think, first of all, don't put too much pressure on yourself.
Yeah.
You know, the pressure just makes everything so much harder. I think we get a lot of pressure from families and society, especially with the different generations. The generation before us, it was so important to have a vocation and to be, you know, highly educated, to get as much education as you can, because it's a privilege.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, you know, especially for our parents' generation, for, you know, a lot of Black Namibians, education was something that they really had to fight for.
Absolutely.
So I think that there's definitely been a huge leap now that, you know, those of us, we can go and study dance, we can go and study music, we can go and study fine art. But, you know, obviously for the generation before that had to fight for the right for education and to get, you know, earn a decent income. It's difficult to understand going and studying music and, you know, following your dreams and following your passion and, you know, doing something that might not be financially stable. If you do choose to, you know, really experiment and really push yourself and really try and find out what gets you going, and a lot of the time it's by accident, you know. A lot of the time it's just by trying different things, it's by experimenting, it's by putting yourself out there, it's by saying yes to things. If you're lucky enough to already know what it is, that's fab. But, you know, for a lot of people I think it's really an accident, but I really think it's just about being open in your life, in your mind and in your heart. I mean, the human rights work, I started off that was completely by accident. I started off organizing just a 2-week workshop. So, you know, and then 3 years later, I was still with the same organization. It was just supposed to be for 2 weeks. So I think, you know, just be open and don't put too much pressure on yourself.
Tell us about your trip. Recently you were in America. You were selected as a YALI student. Tell us about that.
Oh my gosh. That was life-changing. You know, I think with both of the jobs that I do, it requires me filling other people's cups. And so my cup is often left quite empty. And I'm often running on fumes. And YALI filled my cup, like to overflowing. We were essentially taught human-centered design by, you know, one of the people that kind of originated it. So it was all about, you know, social enterprise, businesses for social change. It was about social innovation, finding local solutions to local problems, and designing businesses around people and the core issues that they face. We got to, you know, travel around the state that we were in, which was up in New England in the Northeast. And, you know, experience the ways that Americans run their businesses, and a lot of it was very social. It was incredible. 2 of the really cool ones that we got to visit was Timberland and Ben & Jerry's. And Timberland was it was a bit weird, because we all walked in, you know, these 25 Africans, most of us Black, and we suddenly realized that Timberland is not for us.
Really?
Yeah, so that was a very weird, surprising experience, but they were very open to, you know, having the discussion with us around race and target markets, and because we all know it from music videos.
Yeah.
That's how we all knew the brand. So we were like, what? The only brown people we saw were in their social projects, you know, where they give back to communities. So we kind of flagged that with them, saying, hey, that's not cool.
Really not cool.
But Ben & Jerry's was incredibly interesting. We didn't realize, you know, that they actually build a lot of social activism into their ice cream. Wow. I think they're recently being boycotted because they are now supporting the Black Lives Matter movement. So it was very interesting to see how, you know, social activism and social work can be built into businesses, because you see a lot of these tenderpreneurs I don't see the social impact of their businesses. I hear people bragging about how much alcohol, how much money they spend on alcohol or chartering a flight to the north, and how much money they're spending on a new car. And yes, you work hard and you earn the right to spend your money, but I'd love to see more social enterprise.
Absolutely. That's giving us something to think about there, considering our social enterprise in all of our businesses and in the spaces that we're in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very important.
Yeah.
Let's talk about finding your excitement. What advice would you have to Namibians listening, to anyone listening, to find your excitement and to get into your moment, to be able to let go of the negative of this year and really embrace what is the beauty of you?
Well, I love that question because it's been a rough year for me. It's probably been one of the worst. I think that, the first thing to do is just be really practical about it. We have to be practical about taking care of ourselves and giving to ourselves.
Yeah.
So, I would make a list.
Okay.
I would literally start with a list, writing down what are the things that make me feel good? What are the things that make me feel happy? What are the things that lift me up? Because what we want to get is on a positive upward spiral.
Yeah.
And I think it would be good to have a mixture of things that cost nothing and things that you're willing to invest in.
Yeah.
And the things that don't cost anything is, the giving of my time to, people that need it. My friends have been totally neglected this year because I've been working too much. So, I really would like to invest my time. I would really like to attend as many dance classes as I can, even if it's just at the gym, or Rise Namibia has just started. So, there's free classes, doing physical things, so that's just a couple of examples of some of the things that I'm going to be doing. I also can't push physical activity enough.
Yeah.
Doing, an hour's dance class or going for a walk, anything. And it doesn't have to be something that costs money. You don't have to, have money to go for a walk, for example. But, it gives you endorphins. It breaks the routine of your day. It, your body sings. We are not meant to be sedentary beings. We are hunter-gatherers. We are very physical people. Our bodies carry so much memory. Yeah. They carry memory of traumas. They carry memory of positive things as well. I think that this year I have invested a lot in myself. And I think that is such an important thing for all of us to do.
Yeah.
Is investment in ourselves. Applying to Yali was an investment in myself. Buying books is an investment in myself. Going to the gym is an investment in myself. Finding cheap and healthy food is an investment in myself. So even though life has been incredibly difficult, it's finding these little ways to invest in myself that has lifted me up and kept me going through these times. Obviously, speaking from a place of privilege, I have access to all those things, but it's also about creating those things. They don't come automatically. Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, it's been so wonderful having you on the program to come and share your wisdom with us and inspire us to find our passion, to get into our own space and our excitement, and to invest in ourselves.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's just I love MYD and I love 99. I think it's very exciting to have a Namibian company that is doing the work that you guys are doing. I think it's very inspiring, and I think it's very relevant for modern Namibians.
Well, thank you so much. We're inspired by the work that you do too. So thank you for coming to share with us and to inspire us.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Cool.
Master your destiny on 99 FM.